Good afternoon, friends. This is Cindy Blair from the Alexandria Museum of Art, and I am coming to you from one of AMoA's newest satellite offices, my studio. And today begins our first in a series of AMoA Art Together Tuesdays. And during these videos, we're going to be making lots of projects. Some of them will be actually made out of toilet paper rolls, which is something we have quite a bit of right now as we're all at home all day. So the first thing that I decided to make actually has to do with light. And if you know me, you know I love working with light. And I actually came up with two different ways to use light in making toilet paper roll art. And one of those projects we're going to do today, and then another one of those projects we're going to do maybe next week. And so stay tuned for that one. The first project that we're going to work on today, I will show you. It's in the window. And it's a beautiful toilet paper roll sun catcher. So that'll be the first thing we make today. Now look, tune in next week because next week we will be making a really cool illuminated box luminary. Well, I mean, obviously it's illuminated. It's a luminary. So stay tuned for that next week. And let's get started. We're going to go over materials, and then I'm going to walk you through the process, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so for today's project, we have a few materials we need. Now, not all of these are completely necessary, and I'll let you know which ones are optional. So absolutely necessary are our toilet paper rolls, or if you have a paper towel roll or something like that, that will work as well. And you're going to need some, this is actually optional, some acrylic paint, white, or some bright color to paint the inside of the toilet paper roll. But that's not a have to. If you're gonna be painting, obviously you're gonna need a paintbrush. Need a pair of scissors, a nice pair, you know, that will, or at least something that's gonna cut through the cardboard. So a good pair of scissors. Also, you're going to need some white glue, or you know, any kind of glue that will glue cardboard. It doesn't have to be school glue. It doesn't have to be just some kind of white glue or rubber cement. And I'm going to actually be placing the glue onto the toilet paper rolls with a paintbrush. So I have a small container that I've just poured my glue into, and then a separate brush for that. Also, this is also optional, but this is tissue paper. It's not a have to. We're just gonna, as you saw, we're just gonna put it on the back. It would be lovely hanging in the window without the tissue paper, but I will provide a link, an Amazon link, for your tissue paper thing. Now, we know things are coming slower from Amazon these days, but I was able actually to get a delivery this week, so we just have to see how it goes. But it's not necessary, but if you have tissue paper, if you want to order some, there's that. You'll need some string to hang your sun catcher, as well as if you have them a hole punch, you can also, you know, just use like some scissors or something to make a little small hole. So these aren't absolutely necessary. All right, so now that we have our supplies in order, let's get started. Okay, well, good afternoon. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna paint the inside of the toilet paper roll. I'm just using a little white acrylic paint. This is not a have to, it just helps the light reflect off of the inside of the toilet paper roll. So I'm gonna do that really quickly. It doesn't have to be neat, and you don't wanna get the paint too watery. You don't want it to be too thick either, so just a little bit of water in your paint, not a lot. It'll help it spread around the inside. Doesn't have to be neat. And I'm gonna do that really quickly.
Okay, so the inside of these are painted, and I am going to let those dry for just a minute. And then in the meantime, I'm going to make sure I have a little glue. So I'm taking just a little bit of this Elmer School glue. And I have to open it a little more. You don't need a lot. I don't know if anybody knows the saying, dot, dot, not a lot. That's what you want to think about with your glue with this project. You don't want to soak it in glue. And actually the reason I put it in there is that I'm going to be painting it on with a paintbrush, which I will be washing very carefully afterwards, because I do not want the glue to harden on my brush, because then that's just how you ruin, that's how you ruin good paintbrushes. But as long as you wash it out with soap and water, it's fine to use it with glue, especially this school glue, because it is water soluble. But again, don't let it harden on your brushes. You don't want that. Okay. So because I painted them very lightly, they're pretty much dry. They're dry enough. Okay, so the first one I'm going to make is the sun catcher version. For those of you who maybe you don't want to have to order lights, or you don't have access to them, or yeah, you just don't want to fool with that. So I'm going to show you how to do a really simple one that you can hang in your window. So you're going to take your toilet paper roll and slightly bend it so that it's kind of that shape. You don't want to flatten it all the way, not really, but you're gonna end up with something like that. Now you are gonna go about a quarter inch thick slices. Is that an eighth of an inch, a quarter of an inch? It's not, we're not measuring it, it's okay. And you're just going to cut slices. Okay, now we've got some slices. This one's pretty dry. That's dry enough. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Okay. All right, so now I've got all my slices that I need. Make sure they're kind of all open. Okay, now what I like to do is, let me get a piece of paper so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I like to arrange them first and then start gluing them together, just so you have an idea of where you're going before you commit. And the glue doesn't dry that fast, so you could pull it apart if you needed to, but and just sort of thinking about radial symmetry here. So what happens in one area happens all the way around, and I'll mention that later in the video as well. But you know, symmetry is about balance, and it can make something interesting to look at. Now, let's see, but let's make it a little bit more detailed. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna make some curls. those curls. I think I'm gonna take one curl. Hold on, let me make this smaller. I'm gonna make this center that's a little tighter. Because I think I'm gonna try to see if I can maybe sort of squish that in the center. Let's see if I can make that work. Oh, well, more or less, yeah. Let's see. And you're just gonna play with it until you have something you like. No, I don't love that. I'm gonna go back to the way it was. I'm gonna put that curl somewhere though. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put that back there. And I think what I can do, so you want to experiment with this and try different shapes, but maybe I can put them, maybe, let's just cut this a little bit. Yeah. Now maybe I can take them and fit them in there. Okay. I think I'm gonna need another toilet paper roll. When I have to, if I have to do that, I'll do that. I think I'm just gonna do those curls on the top and bottom. Okay. 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 There's that. Now you can get a little bit more detailed with this, and you can take these and you can fold them in half like that. Oh, you get like little bunny ears. You can see that? Yep, little bunny ears. And those can fit inside here, you know, and play with it. See what different kinds of shapes you can come up with, different kinds of designs you can come up with. Now I can, you know, I can do a lot of different things. I could put another curl in there. I could do another bunny ear. And sit it inside of those bunny ears. Make sure they're, I might have to spread out the little things. And that's just going to give you some detail. Bunny ears, more bunny ears. I only have a few. I'm gonna have to get some more paint another toilet paper roll. Okay, more bunny ears. And I'm just gonna fit them in, and I'm gonna do that all the way around. So now I'm gonna glue all this together. Okay, so you're just gonna put a little bit of glue and press. You might wanna, I'm working on paper, so just make sure you're not using too much glue. You don't want it to drip on the paper below. You can always work on something. You can always put use some wax paper and like a little dot of baby oil or cooking oil or something. Not too much, and just spread it around, and that way it won't stick. But I'm not going to use a lot of glue. I'm really going to focus on not using too much glue so that I don't have that problem. See, I'm just using just a little bit.
Okay, so as you can see, the glue has dried and we have a nice form here. And we're going to go ahead and flip it over, trying to decide which is the front and the back here. It might not matter, but I think this feels more like the back. So you're going to flip it over so that the back is facing up. And I was looking for some soothing colors to do our colors in, and I just feel like blue and green really. You also notice right here I have went ahead and used the hole punch and punched a couple of holes for our string, and so that way we can hang the sun catcher. And just thinking about those colors, I really was looking for something that was soothing, so I went with blue and green. And so you're going to actually start, I don't think you have to be very neat putting this on, but I just tore my paper in pieces. And then you can take your glue brush again, brush a little glue on there. It doesn't have to be neat or perfect. Just brush a little bit on there. And then you're going to lay it down on the back of the sun catcher and press. And we want to cover all of the holes. And along the sides, you can just paint a little glue on there and press that down. And you're just going to press into the sort of crevices there. And just make sure you cover all your little holes. Okay. Gonna actually alternate colors. So I'm alternating green and blue and just working my way around.
And we're just going to continue that until the entire sun catcher is covered on the back. You're using a little bit more glue here, and actually be careful not to cover those holes. But we are actually using a little bit more glue here, and actually you want to do when you've got all the paper on there, just maybe do a second coat of glue over the whole back. That's gonna give that tissue paper a nice sort of hardened candy feel. It also make it a little bit more transparent. It's something that we learned making tissue paper luminaries at the museum. Okay, I'm just finishing up here, and it's gonna take a little bit to dry. I'm just making sure now that all of the pieces of paper are laid down along the side, and it already looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna flip that back over and let it dry for a little bit, and then it'll be ready to put my string in and hang it in the window. So now that we've finished with this project, we're going to let it dry, and we're going to move on to the box luminary. Okay, so we finished our beautiful sun catcher, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for joining us for this first Art Together Tuesday, and join us next week when we'll be making the box luminary. And you guys be safe. Be as well as you can, and just know that we're here for you. And tomorrow on Wednesday we'll be doing we'll start a series of museum tours, so tune in to our YouTube channel and Facebook page for that, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks guys.